Hello everybody, a happy day to everyone. Today we are going to see about A Meeting in Forest by G.B. Shaw. So first we'll look at the author introduction. G.B. Shaw is an Irish playwright. He wrote more than 60 plays during his lifetime. He is a renowned playwright. He was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1925, and for his play Pygmalion, for the screenplay which he wrote for the first version, he won an Oscar. So one key thing which you have to remember about G.B. Shaw is he is the only playwright in English literature to win both Nobel Prize and Oscar. So this particular play, one act play, A Meeting in a Forest, is taken from a full play called as Androclus and the Lion. Androclus and the Lion is a 1912 play by G.B. Shaw. It's a full-length play. The play is Shaw's retelling of the tale of Androclus, a slave who is saved by the requiting mercy of a lion. So the entire tale deals with the main character called as Androclus and the mercy shown by a lion. In the play, Shaw portrays Androclus to be one of the many Christians being led to the Colosseum for torture. So in the whole play, when you look at it, Androclus is led to the Colosseum for torture, but for his kindness he finds a repay in that particular place called as Colosseum. So characters in the play exemplify several themes and takes on both modern and supposed early Christianity, including the cultural clash between Jesus' teachings and traditional Roman values. So throughout the play there, the playwright portrays a conflict between the two Christians and traditional Roman Catholics. So there is always a conflict between them, and that is what he has portrayed throughout this full-length play called as Androclus and the Lion. So this is a picture which is taken. It portrays the help which Androclus does to the lion. So this is a picture portrait of Androclus and the lion. So coming to the characters in A Meeting in a Forest, so I'm not going to discuss about all the characters who were involved in Androclus and the Lion, but we are just going to see about the main characters involved in this one act play called as A Meeting in a Forest, which is taken out of that big play. So in this particular one act play, A Meeting in a Forest, only three characters are there. Androclus, the main character, or you can call him as protagonist, and Megaera, wife of Androclus, and you can find the lion. So only these three characters, they come in this particular part of the play which is titled as A Meeting in a Forest. So now let us get into the plot or the story of A Meeting in a Forest. Androclus and his wife Megaera leave their home to flee from the Roman persecutors. So as I already told you in the introduction, there is a conflict between true Christians, those who believe in Jesus' teaching, and Roman Catholics. So here at the beginning of the play, you can find that Androclus and his wife Megaera, they leave their home to flee from the Roman persecutors. So there is a persecution which is taking place against Christians. So to escape from that persecution, both Androclus and his wife Megaera, they leave their home and flee. Now let us look into the character of Androclus, the humble man. Androclus is a thin little man. So his stature is actually, he is very thin in his stature. He is little when compared to Megara. He has very poor looks. He and his wife flee the Roman Empire and reach the middle of a dense jungle. So he is very poor in his looks. He doesn't have a very good stature. So normally to flee from the persecution, they just leave their home and flee. Now they reach a dense jungle. They are in middle of the jungle. He seems to be tired and hungry, carrying a big bundle. So while fleeing their home, he actually carries a very big bundle, and as they have traveled a long distance, now he feels tired and hungry carrying that but big bundle behind him. Coming to Megara, she is the pampered Megara. Pampered. Pampered means spoiled. So, as the term suggests, she is spoiled, and she is short tempered in her nature. But whereas Androclus, he is a humble man, but she is totally opposite to Androclus. The pampered Megara is his wife, who has pretty looks and is always in the comfort zone. So you can always find there she has got a better look than Androclus, and she doesn't come out of her comfort zone. So whatever work she wants it to be done, she asks Androclus to do it. She is well fed, also very quarrelsome and quite disrespectful in her words. So you can find her nature over there. She is well fed, so she eats a lot, also very quarrelsome and quite disrespectful in her words. So she always fights with Androclus, and as I already told you, she is a short tempered woman, and she uses disrespectful words towards Androclus. She is famous for her negative qualities. She walks with the help of a stick through the forest. So you have to keep this thing in mind. So for her negative qualities, she is famous, and while walking through the forest, she uses a stick for her help. So two contrasting natures you can find in Androclus and Megara. While moving forward in the plot, Megara throws her stick and refuses to go any further. As we have already seen about Megara, she always uses disrespectful words and she is not cooperative with Androclus. Now they have reached the middle of the forest, dense forest, where Megara throws her stick and she refuses to go any further. Poor Androclus pleads her to keep walking to reach the nearby village before dark. As usual, Androclus is very humble towards his wife. So what he does is, he doesn't shout at her or he doesn't order her to walk, but he pleads her to keep walking so that they can reach the nearby village before it gets dark and they can find some kind of help in the nearby village. He scares her about the lions in the forest. So this thing you have to keep in mind. Androclus actually, to scare his wife Megara, to make her walk through the forest, he says that there are lions in this dense forest. At any time it may appear and consume them. So he asks her to walk through the forest so that they can reach the nearby village. She calls him a cruel person for making her walk. At this point, actually, Megara doesn't realize that Androclus is saying for her good, but she calls him as a cruel person for making her walk. She does not believe his words about lions and calls him selfish. So you can see there again, one thing you have to keep in mind, that Megara, she doesn't believe in the lions in the forest, and she always blames Androclus, and she goes to a point where she calls him selfish. She pulls down the bundle from his back and she keeps on torturing him. Now, already the bundle behind Androclus is very heavy, which Megara actually pulls, and Androclus, she makes Androclus discomfort while walking. Next, we can see the kindness of Androclus. In spite Megara doing all these things to Androclus, Androclus, he accepts all that he is blamed for by Megara. Instead of opposing Megara, whatever she says, Androclus politely accepts all the blame which is posed upon him. He only shows his love and concern for her. He never complains anything in return about her. So see, such a kind fellow is Androclus. He only shows his love towards her and the concern which he has got upon her. And you can also see that he never complains, like Megara says that he is very cruel, he is making her walk through the forest, and she also calls him selfish, heartless man. Whereas Androclus, he takes all the complaints and he in return he doesn't say anything about Megara. So such a kind person is Androclus. So next we'll see about the guilty Megara. She keeps on speaking that he has made her a slave and has made himself a laughing stock. So she always complains about Androclus, and she says that he has made her, or he has kept her like a slave, and he has made himself a laughing stock. So he mocks, that is what she says. People called her a shrew of a woman. She also blames him for being a soft spoken man and to have been misled by her. So she keeps on complaining that all the people they called her a shrew of a woman. She's not a good woman, she's spoiled woman. That is what they talked about her. And she also says that everyone blames her because Androclus is a soft spoken man, and many people they believe that Androclus is misled by Megara. It is actually the truth, but she doesn't accept it. She says that people speak like this about me because of you. So she doesn't accept her guilt. She does not like him being kind and fond of animals. This thing you have to keep in mind. Megara doesn't like Androclus being kind and fond of animals. Androclus actually is not only polite towards his wife, but he is also polite towards animals, which Megara actually dislikes. She totally dislikes this nature of Androclus. Moving forward, Androclus in his quiet manner speaks to his wife. He says that he loves her and shows his concern for her. Whereas on the other hand, Androclus in a very quiet manner he talks to Megara, his wife, and he also says that he loves her and shows his concern for her, which she doesn't realize. He also says that he is a pious Christian and is not selfish. So he says that he is a generous man and he is not selfish towards himself. He accepts his fault of being addicted to drink. So one bad nature which you can find in Androclus is that he is addicted to drink. But on the other hand, you can find him accepting his fault, whereas Megara, she doesn't accept her fault, but she blames Androclus that people talk bad about her because of him. While on the other hand, Androclus says that yes, I am addicted to drink, that is my fault, which actually Megara, she complains about Androclus. He accepts it in a polite manner. She firmly states that she could even bear his addiction to drinks and not to animals. Again, you have to keep this in mind that Megara, she is even ready to forgive or bear with Androclus for being addicted to drinks, but she cannot accept him for being polite towards animals. So that nature of Androclus, she totally hates. Majira totally hates Androclus' nature being polite towards animals. So she goes to an extreme where she says that okay, fine, you are addicted to drinks, I can bear with it, but I cannot bear with you being polite towards animals. He had even grabbed the food for feeding the stray animals which he would bring home every day, and she strongly suggests him to live with animals than a wife. So you can find the nature of Androclus when he finds the street animals, the stray animals in the street. He used to even grab food for those animals and feed them. He cannot see a stray animal, and he cannot move from the place just like that without concerning it. So he is very much attached towards animals that he used to grab food and feed animals, for which Majira actually tells that you can live with those animals rather than a wife like me. Why do you want a wife like me? You can actually live your life with those animals, which is actually more important for you than a wife. But actually Androclus' nature is not like that. He gives concern towards animal, at the same time he gives more of a kind of love and concern towards Megara, which she doesn't understand. Her only point is that he is very much concerned about animals. Now we can see about the responsible addy over there. So Androclus explains to his wife that all their things had been sold and they had to starve or thrown to the lions if they had to return home. So now they are in middle of the forest when this particular argument is taking place between Megara and Androclus. So here we can find that Androclus, being a responsible husband, he says to his wife that all the things have been sold when they came out of their house, and now if they want to get back to their home, they should starve or they should be thrown to the lions. That will be the punishment which will be given by the Roman Empire if they are supposed to return. So he tells this so that he can make Megara move through the forest. Now comes the main thing. As I already told you, a meeting in a forest is a one act play which is taken from the main play called as Androclus and the Lion. So here comes the main thing. The encounter with the beast is actually this particular play, a meeting in a forest. So here you can find these people, these two couples encountering a beast. As always, Androclus cares for animals. He is worried for the loud groan of a lion heard. So while they are moving in the forest, in middle of the forest, all of a sudden they listen to the groan of a lion. So you can find the groaning of a lion over there. So groan in the sense Actually, the lion is suffering out of pain, and that particular thing he is sound, the grounding sound, he is able to listen, and he is worried about what has happened to this particular lion. Actually, he doesn't listen to the roar of a lion, because roaring of a lion could be heard for kilometers. Instead of roaring of a lion, here he is able to hear a loud groan, which is straight opposite. The lion or the beast is suffering from extreme pain. That is what he is able to understand, and he is much concerned for the animal. He thinks what could have happened to this animal, or in any way can he be helpful to this particular animal. So he looks at the sleeping lion. So he goes in search of the lion, and finally at one place he is able to look at the sleeping lion. He glares at the lion's eyes and talks to the lion. So as I already told you, Androclus is a very polite man actually. So he goes to the lion. So he is polite to the extreme that he sees a dangerous beast before him, but still he is able to walk up to it, and he looks at the lion's eyes and he starts to talk to the beast. He starts to talk to the lion, asking to spare his loving wife. Again, you can see the concern and the love which Androclus is having towards his wife. Actually, he goes to the beast, but there he pleads before the lion to spare his loving wife. So, see how concerned he is towards his wife. To his astonishment, the lion holds up his paw and flaps it piteously before Androclus. So, what happens? Instead of lion just coming over Androclus, it takes or it raises its paw and flaps it piteously before Androclus. So it shows its paw to Androclus. And he feels, that is, Androclus feels sad for the lion in pain with the thorn in his paw. So Androclus is able to see a huge thorn which is stuck in the lion's paw, and he feels sad for the lion which is actually suffering from extreme pain. So what he does, without thinking, uh, he just tries to help the lion. So he just rests down to pull out the frightful thorn. So very politely, peacefully, he sits near the lion. He takes its paw and he helps the lion uh, to get rid of the thorn. So what happens there? He rests down to pull out the frightful thorn without the slightest pain. You can see that he just doesn't sit and pull out the thorn, but without a slightest pain caused for the lion. In such a way, he removes the thorn out of the lion. Now you have to keep one thing in mind. While this scene is happening, Bagheera actually, she runs away from the place once she comes across the lion. So whereas Androclus doesn't run, he just goes and pleads to the lion for his wife, and when he finds that the beast has got a thorn stuck in its paw and it is suffering with extreme pain, he just rests over there to help the lion, and he removes the thorn, frightful thorn, the big thorn, without the slightest pain. So this is the scene where you can find the main part of the one act play, a meeting in a forest. So it starts from the entering into the forest and the encounter with the beast. Now let us see the further. Let us see the story. So next, you can find that the gratefulness of the beast. Now Androclus has helped the beast So the beast bore all the pain and understood the dear old friend Andy. He rejoices with the beast's paws in his hand. Now, before this scene, let me tell you one thing, or one particular thing which happens. Androculus and Megara, they are caught by the Roman Empire people, and they're taken back to their hometown, where actually Androclus has been put in jail, and because of the people saying that they want to see blood, Androclus comes forward and offers himself in the Colosseum to encounter the beast. Colosseum is a huge auditorium where you can find lot of people watching the encounter between a human and the dangerous animals, or sometimes human and giants. So that place Androclus offers himself voluntarily, as people has asked that they want to see blood, he offers himself before a beast. The beast is actually the lion, and the lion is actually the lion which Androclus helped in the forest. So once Androclus comes before the lion, the beast, actually understands that Androclus is the person who has helped the animal when it was suffering in a great pain, and it doesn't harm Androclus. Instead of harming him, tearing into pieces before all the people, it actually provides its paw to Androclus, and Androclus also recognizes the beast, the lion, and he takes the paw of the lion in his hand, and both of them, they start to rejoice, and they start to dance hand in hand in the Colosseum, which actually surprises the audience or the huge gathering in the Colosseum. And you can also find that after this incident, Androclus is forgiven by the empire, and he is supposed to lead his normal life. But when you come to the conclusion, you can find his wife Majira there, and her, this behavior of Androclus, actually rejoicing with the beast. So that particular reaction you can find in the conclusion. So there it is. Despite the true love of Androclus